the pipes and working with the pipes, right? And today we will see how we can work with that is not related to your session documents, Vishnu. That is wrongly uploaded. You can ignore that, right? Okay, let's see, right? Okay, yesterday we learned all the plural pipes, how to work with them, right? So one more concept we have to discuss here is about how do we deal with the custom pipes, how we can work with the custom pipes technically. Yeah, how do we deal with the custom pipe? Means creating our own pipes. So Angular allows to configure and create your own pipe that can serve any specific situation in your application situation in your application. Angular allows you to configure your own pipes technically. So Angular provides several built-in pipes, and Angular allows to configure our own pipes also, right? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so here, how to configure the pipes and how do we define the pipes? So we will see how we can configure and define the pipes. In the introduction itself, I told you, like actually pipe is a class that implements pipe transform base class, that implements the pipe transform base class. So it configures a functionality for pipe by using transform method. So if you want to create any pipe, then you have to follow these two basic points. So technically pipe is a class, and that pipe class uses a pipe transform method, and the transform method must return a transformation for specified content, must return a transformation, and that transformation will be applied for any particular content, right? So technically, one more option we discussed, if you remembered, actually, so the pipe is marked by using @pipe, by using @type marker. is defined by using @net pipe marker. So the pipe is defined by using @net type marker. So @net pipe is actually nothing but it specifies the name and metadata for pipe, name and metadata for pipe, which we will see how we can configure. That means we can create our own pipes, configure our own pipes. So technically, suppose the example is this. With this example, so we have created, we have all the predefined pipes used. Suppose we have some message, means some text message. Let's keep some message. MSG is equal to, suppose, so welcome to, so Angular, something like this. We have a toggled case here. We have a toggled case here. Uneven capitalization is defined here. Now what should happen is whenever this is being displayed, so I'm displaying that here MSG is here, MSG is displayed here. Usually that MSG will be displayed in the same format. So I will access that and see here. So localhost, it is displayed in the same format, right? It is displaying in the same format. So that means how you configured, it is displayed in that particular format. Yeah. Now that is what we have here. So Angular, it is displaying in that format. Okay. Now I want to keep in an uppercase. Already we have uppercase pipe. I want in lowercase. Already I have lowercase. Title case, we have already title case. I want sentence case. In sentence case, only first letter should be capital and all others lowercase. And we don't have any pipe called sentence case. We don't have any pipe called sentence case. Then usually we can configure a custom pipe. We can configure a custom pipe, which can do a lot of functionalities. So welcome. So this is the spelling. Okay. So we can use it for various situations. We can create and customize for various situations. I'm just giving one example here. We don't have any pipe for sentence case. That means in the sentence, first letter will be caps. Then we can create our own pipe for that. How we can create a pipe. So to create your own custom pipe, so you have to go to app folder. In the app folder, you can maintain a separate folder called custom pipes. In that you can add your all files, or directly you can keep. So here in the app folder, you can directly add a new file. And here the file is, so I given the file name as sentence case pipe.ts. Sentence case pipe.ts. Sentence case pipe.ts. So you can give any name, but traditionally for pipes we have a habit of giving the name as any name.pipe.ts. For components we have a habit of any name.component.ts. But remember, Component and pipe, these are not extensions. They are part of file name only. You can give any name, it doesn't matter. So it's not necessary that pipes will have dot pipe. It is just a tradition we follow. So I created that pipe here. So that is sentence case pipe. Technically, pipe is a class. That means export class sentence case pipe. Why export? Because you know module technique. If anything declared in this file, if you want to access outside this file, then it should be marked with export. Already we learned the modular technique actually. So we know that the module approach and the module technique we already discussed. Now, another important here is, so that means pipe is a class that implements the pipe transform base class. So this pipe transform base class is defined in, so Angular core library. It is defined in Angular core library. So what you have to do is we have to import Angular core library. So we need to import a pipe transform. Pipe transform is to configure the pipe, and pipe is marked by using a pipe marker, and @pipe specifies the metadata for the pipe. So pipe marker, so defined in, so pipe base, in pipe base of same Angular core, in the pipe base of Angular core. So here you need one more option, that is you need pipe also here. So we need a pipe transform and pipe. Pipe transform is to create pipe, and pipe is to define the metadata for pipe. And what is the metadata we need to define? So that means this is not a pipe behavior yet. It is just a class. To define a pipe behavior, we have to use @pipe, and we need to configure the pipe metadata. In the pipe metadata, we have a pipe name, and the name for the pipe is sentence case. That is the pipe name. We are configuring the pipe name in this way. So we are defining the pipe name as sentence case. So pipe describes the metadata for it, and that is the pipe transform. That means that is the pipe name you have configured. Now pipe name you have configured, but this is not yet a pipe. So it can be a pipe by implementing, it implements pipe transform base class. It implements pipe transform base class. It implements the pipe transform base class. Every pipe that you create must implement the pipe transform base, and it is need to be defined with the metadata which contains the pipe name, right? And why it is showing error? Because every pipe needs to implement the functionality by using a transform method. You have to configure the transform method. This transform method will tell the transformation. It will tell the transformation. What is the means? It tells the functionality of this pipe, how this pipe should work, the functionality for this pipe, how this pipe should work, and what is the functionality. Technically, how this functionality should work, we have to configure with our functions, JavaScript functions and all. Like this transform method will take the data that you have defined. That means it will take a string, whatever the string you have defined. It should return that string. It should return the string in sentence case. In sentence case, usually first letter will be capital and first character will be capital, and it will keep all others in lowercase. Only first letter will be capital. Then I will do in this way. We will use some string functions. Let first character is equal to, we can get the first character by using str.char@. So we have char@ function which will get the character at 0. That is the first character. Okay, another let rest characters. We can get the rest of characters by using substring. We have a substring function which will get the rest of all the characters. From which index? From one index, it will get rest characters. First character you can access by using char@. It is a general string function. And substring also a string function which will return the string from that specific index. Now we will create a sentence. So this sentence, so we'll keep the first character to uppercase, then first character dot to uppercase. It will convert to uppercase and concatenate with the rest characters, converting them to lowercase in whichever case they may be. It is converting the first character to uppercase and rest characters to lowercase. And finally, it should return that sentence. As a transformation, it should return the sentence. So transform is a method which can take your value. It can transform the value and it can return the transformation. You can write anything. You can write for formatting the string, for applying any specific format, because pipes are used for implementing formatting, sorting, filtering like activities. So according to your requirement, you can define. So I will give you an example. You try to do by yourself, right? One simple example I will give you. You try to do by yourself. But this is a general thing. So pipe is ready. Of course, you know that. So that means what we have to do is, so you created a pipe, but it is not ready to use. So how we define that? So add a new file into app folder, and its name is the file name we define as pipe.ts. In this, we add this all logic. This is what we have to do. This is all the logic for that. Okay. After this, then next point, the pipe you created is not ready to use. What we have to do is, we have to go to app-module.ts and you have to register that pipe here. Generally, where to register the pipes? Pipes are registered in the location where you have registered your components. Pipe need to be registered in the same component location. So that means you have to define that in the declarations we have to define. That means this is also important point is, so pipes are registered in app module, app.module.ts declarations, in app.module.ts declarations. So pipes are registered in app module declarations. So in app module declarations, we have to register that pipe. That is a sentence case pipe. We have to register it. Once we register it, the pipe is available. I want to apply that pipe to this sentence. So to that sentence, we need to apply. Then we can go to the location, and here we can apply pipe, and you have a sentence case pipe. This is your own created pipe. Earlier, we don't have any sentence case pipe. So now we created a custom pipe. That is the sentence case pipe. And this pipe is working fine. Let's check that and see. And you can see it converts everything into sentence case. So already you have title case, already you have uppercase and lowercase. So every format and every functionality is not provided to you as per your requirements. Then we have to define our own pipes, configure our own pipes. Several times in your projects when you are working, you will see several pipes are used regularly. Now I will give you one task you try to do. So this is implementing the pipe. That means now what you have to do is go to app.module.ts, and in the declarations, in the declarations collection. So you need to register it. In the declarations, you have to register that sentence pipe. Okay. I configured that sentence pipe there. Okay, in the declarations. Fine. Now we need to apply this to the sentence. So that means you can apply to any content. Suppose in the file we have some content like this. So that means we have the sentence like this. This is the sentence, and we need to apply for this MSG pipe sentence case. Many times in real world projects, you will see so many such pipes are working. And usually those pipes they are using, you try to search for them on internet, that what is that pipe. You will never find any answer for that actually, because they are all their own pipes, custom made pipes for their requirement. I will give you one simple task. You try to do that. You have to create a pipe. That can sort the collection and display in ascending order. Whether it may be a name or whether it may be string, you need to create a pipe that can sort the collection in ascending order. That is one simple option that you have to try. You have to create that. So you can write your own methods. It is a class, na? So it is a class and you are implementing that class. So you already learned OOP concepts, implementations, so many things you learned. Such questions should not come from your side, because you should think by yourself. What do you think? We can't write any another method in a class. Do you think, is there any problem in writing any another method in the class? Everything should not be a question. You should be able to explore and think by yourself, because already you are good in your object-oriented programming, right? Until or unless you see any complex things that restrict implementation of more methods here, because you are clearly watching that it is a general class. You are clearly watching that it is implementing. So, and you know the implementation can have some more additional functionalities you can define rather than what is defined inside it. So based on that, you can get to a conclusion how it works, right? Yeah. technically, this is one example. And these are the options here. These are the options here. This you have to try to create. So this you have to try to create, right? Like so how we can configure a collection. You try this. Means on a collection, I must able to apply. So collection, on that collection. Actually, collection is nothing but we are performing some iteration over the collection. Iteration over the collection or anywhere. In this collection, if I apply a pipe, then this collection should display in order. That means suppose the items inside the collection are not in order and you apply a pipe, that should keep those collection in order and print them in order. So I hope you can try this. All right. That means now create a pipe, custom pipe, which can sort and which can display the contents. Right. That's you try by yourself. Right. So then you can get a clarity on, because see, to create such functionalities, you need to be strong in all manipulations, string manipulations and other types of manipulations. You need to be strong in that, right? You need to do that, right? Right. Why do you think there is no any reason for creating a custom pipe? Whatever you need as your application requires, do you have that as a pipe? You need several formats in real world development process. Do you have everything? That means Angular provided every solution for your requirements. Huh? Angular provided everything for your requirements. What do you think, Vijender? Do you have? Yeah, I hope you understood the point, right? Don't loop through the concept. Just what you asked, what I said, are you clear with that? Huh. Is there any more question related to that? Nah, I hope you are clear into that, right? So technically, what is the necessity of creating custom pipes? Everywhere, every time there is necessity, because we don't have everything for our requirements from them. Then we have to design so many things according to our requirements. So that is why any technology is given as open source. Am I right? Any technology is open source. And here, one of the key point is, so the process of, technically you should know this, the process of creating reusable, maintainable, and testable components for our application, and injecting into components and injecting into components to use their functionality. Functionality is known as dependency injection. So the process of creating reusable components, maintainable components, testable components for your application, and injecting them into the components, into other components to use their functionality is actually referred as dependency injection. So many people actually dependency injection is a software design pattern. It is a software design pattern. Technically, dependency injection is a design pattern. Now, some of our developers made it as a topic, and many people ask also, sir, will you teach any dependency injection example? Right. Then with that question itself, we can understand their level of understanding OOP concepts. That means we can know that they know some technology, but they don't have a proper knowledge of the technology. Because anybody who comes with the background of object-oriented programming, he knows that configuring, creating reusable components and injecting them into other locations, accessing their functionalities. This all comes under a concept called dependency injection. So here you created your own components and you injected them into application. You borrowed components from materials and injected into application. You created your own pipes and injected into application. This all comes under the category of dependency injection. I hope many of you are clear about this, because many times when we are discussing about Angular related concepts, so because people don't have a proper knowledge on the technology, they simply ask like, sir, will you teach one example on dependency injection? Right? That is not a general appropriate question at all, because everywhere there is dependency injection. If you are using an OOP language in any application development, it is using dependency injection. And custom pipes, custom services, and custom components. So third-party components, these all are used into your application by using this dependency injection mechanism. That means you just applied this sentence case to your content. What do you think what is happening in the background? In the background, it is loading this pipe into the memory. It is executing the pipe. So it is returning the functionality. That means it is doing a lot of work in the background. So that means it is identifying the dependencies, loading the dependencies, and using the dependencies. Sometimes they depend on several components. Sometimes they depend on only one. That already I told you. Suppose when you are using materials, so I want to use date picker. I need one more dependency of that date picker. And if you inject the dependency, then only that functionality will work. But many people are misguided, right? Generally, so sometimes you will see that some person will put a heading dependency injection and one program on dependency injection. That is like foolish thing, because everywhere there is dependency injection. So you cannot simply put a program and say that this is dependency injection program. Very experienced experts will laugh on that, because they know that everywhere dependency injection is there. So you should know that the dependency injection, this creating custom pipes, creating custom components, this comes under this concept only. How the dependencies are configured, how the dependencies are injected. So these are all important. Several more examples we will see that, right? This is all about how do we deal and work with the pipes, how we can work with the pipes. Technically, how to deal and work with the pipes. And important in this, everywhere we have used pipes. Now, can you tell me in the pipes, whatever we learned, so which pipe you will name as impure pipe. Impure pipe. Out of all the pipes we have learned, which pipe you will name as impure pipe? Can you tell me? Out of all these pipes, which pipe will you name as impure pipe? Because I said by default pipes are pure. Which pipe will you define as impure pipe? Can you tell? Which is impure pipe? Good. So the sentence case pipe we created, that is an impure pipe. Next. So I18 plural. Sentence case is a custom pipe. Impure pipe, it will become when it is changing the functionality also. Changing the output means not the format. So you cannot directly say that this is an impure pipe until or unless it has some more additional dynamic functionality configured. But custom pipes are under the category of impure because you defined the functionality and you configured the functionality. They can change that, right? They can be changed according to the state and situation. You can write currently it is not, okay? Currently it is not. You can change. You can write in such a way that it can change according to situation. I18 plural pipe and the select pipe, I18 select pipe, right? Yeah, yes. So slice pipe, right? That means these are used for even changing the values according to the situation and the state. So they all comes under the category of impure pipes. That means you can say I18 plural pipe, I18 select pipe, right? These all comes under the category of impure pipes, under the category of impure pipes. So that means you can say that I18 and select. So I18 and plural, right? We have slice. All these comes under the category of impure pipes. So you can create your own pipes which can behave as impure pipes, That means they can use a logical condition. According to the condition, they can change the functionality and define the functionality. That can happen, right? So we don't need to much worry about separate example on that because already you have seen it. Only the point is, I told you that many people try to classify that pure pipes, impure pipes, but that depends on the state and the functionality, how they are serving, right? That is important. This is all about how do we work with the pipes in Angular. And one more pipe is there, async pipe, that we are going to discuss with asynchronous concepts with RxJS in the next level. We will learn about that. That is async pipe actually. Now, after understanding the pipes, so this is all about how do we work with the pipes. So we will discuss about how we can use the services. Yes, multiple behaviors depending on situation. Already they do the whatever we give, they do that, right? That is impure, okay? Yeah. Now once you know that, so once you know how these pipes works, right? Next important is we need to understand about the concept of services, Angular services. This is also not a complex thing. It's also a very simple concept actually. Technically, Angular service, so this will later helpful for various situations. But in general, what is a service? Actually, technically, service is a predefined business logic. So which can be reused in the application, by injecting into any component. So technically, service is a predefined business logic, so which can be reused in application by injecting into any component. Actually, technically speaking, service is a collection of factories. But this sentence you will hear nowhere. That means anywhere you search for the concept of service, very rarely you will find this sentence about service, like service is a collection of factories. This sentence is usually used by developers who have a complete experience on all the technologies till now came into web development. That means like client side. People who know everything client side, from JavaScript, jQuery, Knockout.js, Angular, right? They know that they use this word regularly. Service is a collection of factories. But nowhere in the world, anywhere you search for service, you will never find this regularly, this as a sentence answer for service. But this is what technically it is. Service is a collection of factories. Actually, factory is a collection of related type of functions. Factory is a collection of related type of functions. So actually what we can do is, so suppose example I will show you technically what we can do here is, suppose we have a factory. So suppose we have a string factory. String factory is having some functions like char at. So we have like index of, we have like so substring, some functions are there. So this is a string factory. So we have another factory. So string format factory. Format factory. This string format factory is having like bold, like font size. So it is having like font color, something like this. So these two are, this is related to string manipulation. So that means, so this is a string manipulation factory. Suppose I say them as a string manipulation factory. This is a string manipulation factory. String manipulation factory. This is a string manipulation factory. And this is string formatting factory. But both are related to strings only. That means a factory is a collection of related type of functions. So we have two factories. These both are related to each other. So they have, because both belong to string type. Now these factories, this set of factories, these factories are injected. These factories are injected into a service. Service is a collection of factories. A service is a collection. That means there is a string service. String service contains a collection of string manipulation factory, and it contains string formatting factory. That means all a collection of factories are present in one service. Now here we have an Angular application. In that Angular application, we want to use those functionalities. Now, if you show some experience of, you say, I will 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus, 5 years above experience, if you show some 5+ experience, then interviewer may ask like, why can't you inject a factory into application and use the factory? Why you are injecting a factory into a service and you are using a service in your application? Service in your application. That is a regular question for very experienced person. Why don't you use a factory? Because finally you want some functions, and the functions are present in factory. Why you are injecting factory into a service and using a service? Why can't you directly use a factory in your application and use those functions? That is the regular question. So this tells, this requires the knowledge of how actually the library is built actually. Technically, the answer for this is why I cannot use a factory directly. Finally, you want some functions, then why you want a factory directly? Why do you don't want a factory directly? Because so you can inject, actually you can inject. So you can inject a factory, so directly into any component, in order to use the functionality, But what is problem with factory is factory technically uses a single call mechanism. It uses a single call mechanism. Factory uses a single call mechanism. That is the problem with factory. What is single call mechanism? Single call mechanism is nothing but every time when you want to use a function, every time when you want to use a function, you need to technically, you need an object actually. You need an object to create. So that is what actually single call. So it is disconnected. You can say it is disconnected and a discrete mechanism. It is disconnected and discrete. That is what actually, so the problem with factory, it is disconnected and discrete. That is the problem with factory. That is what we call as single call mechanism. So technically, single call mechanism is nothing but generally. So this is the basic, right? Okay. What is a single call mechanism usually? Single call mechanism is nothing but, suppose, so we have a client. So this is the client. That means this is the client. So we have several clients accessing the resource. Suppose let's keep this as, we have a server. Okay. We have a server and we have so many clients here. Server and several clients are here. Now what happens is there is some resource on that server. And we want to access that resource. So this is the clients. Okay. We have many clients. So, and we have some resource on the server. Some resource is there. Now the client have to access the resource. If client have to, the client request goes for the resource, then what server will do is server will create an object, and through that object it will provide access to that resource. Now second client also wants the same object. Second client also wants the same resource actually. Then second client to try to access that resource, then what it has to do is, what it will do is, it will create another object for that, another object. Through that object, it will provide the access. So if I want 10 times a functionality to use, I need to create 10 objects. Every time I need to create an object. The same functionality I'm accessing 10 times, then I need 10 different objects. Every time I need to create an object, through that an object I can access. This mechanism is actually called as single call. This mechanism is called as single call. Specialty of service. Service uses a singleton mechanism. Service uses a singleton mechanism. That means object is created only for the first request. Created only for the first request, and the same object is used across any number of requests, any number. What actually object can do. That means service can do. So it is connected and continuous. Technically, it is connected and continuous. Right? It is connected and continuous. That is what the service intention is. Service uses a singleton mechanism. In many programming languages, you might have learned about singleton mechanism. In many programming languages, you might have learned the singleton mechanism. Usually, singleton mechanism means an object is created once. That means what happens in singleton mechanism actually. The point is very simple. So what happens in a singleton technique is, so an object is created by the server to provide access to the resource for the first client. And the same object will be used by all others. To access the resource. So that is what actually the concept of service. So why you are injecting anything into a service and using a service, why you are not using a factory directly? So these type of questions are very rare for a fresher, but these are for the person who shows experience and he says that I know a lot of things other than Angular. Because generally, so when you put 5-6 years experience in resume, obviously you cannot say that I know Angular only. Because if you have 5 years experience, then obviously you know JavaScript. After JavaScript, you might know jQuery. After that, you might have used AngularJS or something, Knockout.js. Then you migrated to Angular, right? You cannot say that I have 5 years experience, right? So then generally, you cannot say that I have 5 years experience, I know Angular, but I don't know JavaScript, jQuery. That is like silly thing. Then in that case, if anyone see in your resume mentioning about all these in your resume, then obviously they will ask, okay, you know AngularJS also, or you know something jQuery, JavaScript also. Then how they use the functionality? So that means the point is, they say that we can directly inject a factory and use the functionality. Why you need a service? Why Angular is providing a service? What is the intention of service? AngularJS also have services. So Angular also has services and several built-in services, predefined logic. For example, I will tell you, suppose service is like predefined business logic, which can be reused in application by injecting into component. For example, suppose anyone asks you like, so you have CAPTCHA. Generally, CAPTCHA is to verify whether you are a human or a robot. That means CAPTCHA is used in forms. CAPTCHA is used in forms. If anyone asks you a question, do you know how to write code for CAPTCHA? Then what is your answer? If anyone says that, do you know how to write code for CAPTCHA? Any one of you know how to write code for CAPTCHA? Right? Do you know how to write code for CAPTCHA? Actually, the question itself is a wrong point. That means CAPTCHA is not a code to write. CAPTCHA is a service to implement in our functionality. You know that CAPTCHA service is provided by so many people. We have Google reCAPTCHA. You know this, huh? Google reCAPTCHA. Have you ever heard about that? So CAPTCHA is a service. CAPTCHA is a service. This is a service. That means what we do is we go to this Google CAPTCHA service and we can inject this service into your application. It's not a code to write. For example, you are designing a page and you want to show your location address on a map. Now what? Will you write any code for map? No, we don't write any code for map. So we have map services, right? Google reCAPTCHA is used across any technology in a same way. It is not just only client side, it is both client side and server side, right? For that, you need to know server side also. CAPTCHA is not just client side, right? If you have learned CAPTCHA in any technology, how to write, generally in HTML also you can put CAPTCHA. You don't need to come to learn Angular for CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA can be implemented in general HTML also. It is just a service you can inject anywhere in any technology. And everywhere, client-side integration will be same. Server-side integration will be changing. For Java, for .NET, for PHP, implementation will be changing. For example, you say JSP. For JSP, how to implement CAPTCHA. So you can see for Java JSP, how to implement CAPTCHA. They will give you a library. You have to download that library. You have to import that library and you have to use that library. Right? In every functionality, means in every technology, its approach will be a little bit different. Library will be different. Right? So for every technology, you will have this. This is Java. We need both client-side integration, server-side integration. Right? So it is not a code to write. It is a service we can inject into our application and use it. So here the main intention of creating a service is if I need some functionality across several locations. For example, you see in a lot of our components, we used products data. And wherever we used products data, you have seen that I have created a complex array and I kept products details and all, right? So that means wherever I want to display the data, I have created a complex collection like this every time. But now if you need this data regularly in different components and you want some manipulations on the data regularly in different components, then you can configure this as a service. So you can create a service that can return some data. And that service you can inject in any component and you can use it. That is the intention. That is the intention of service. So how to create reusable services? How we can create reusable services, how we can inject and use in our application. That is what you are going to learn. This you can use later for integrating with server-side technologies and others also. Technically, the main purpose of service is to create a predefined business logic which allows to achieve reusability of the functionality by using a singleton mechanism. That is the main point. Now you can use in various occasions for different purpose. We will see some examples, how we can configure the service and how we can use the service. That we will see in our next session, right? On Monday, we will do that. Monday, we can finish with service because one example we will see, later we will implement in other points also. And after the service, we will go into the concept of forms. After learning the forms and services, then I will show you how to integrate with server-side technology, right? Initially, many people ask, will you show with server-side integration? Service means don't think server-side integration, right? Service is having its own functionality client-side. It can be used at server-side for different reasons. We will see that, right? How services are created and configured and used, that we will see in the next session. So, right, Monday we will discuss with example.